Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back to the NAO show. We cut off the dying limb that is Marky Mark, and we are only going as Tank Top Mike and the Prince this week. Maybe he will come back next week
We called
and
him.
grace us with his presence.
We called him and texted him. He's sleeping, taking his nap. Didn't wake up.
He didn't wake up. We are not concerned. We're not concerned that he won't wake up. He just didn't wake up. Uh, So, Tank Top Mike and I are going to drive this crazy train all over this place and talk about some random stuff this week. All because the league is quiet right now, isn't it,
Yeah,
Tank Top Mike?
yeah. Let's get some stuff going. I keep hearing this whole 3 day trade, 5 day trade. No,
We
let's.
like I don't know what it is about this league this year, but man, last year this time we were throwing people around like it was just
Yeah,
freaking hockey pucks. You know what I mean? Like
we had how many episodes of this show with trade days and
we had dedicated 45, 15-minute shows just to trades because that's how long it was going to take to get
yeah.
through trades. Have we had a trade since
Let's look.
when was the last time we had a trade there, Tank Top Mike? Let's
Trades.
see.
Our last trade was May 25th,
May 25th.
and it was
It is
Adam
July
Thielen.
6th today, and we haven't had a trade since May 25th.
We even had a meaningful trade since Derrick Henry on May 18th.
Oh yeah, the Derrick Henry trade. That was a big move. That going from Humpty to the DBs. Humpty going all in this year with not being competitive at all. So
Yeah,
and
we're
then the
coming up
DBs
on
just
2 months of no trades.
yeah, I know. 2 months of no trades. It's kind of. Why do you think that is the fact there, Tank Top?
I know for a fact that there's some trades that have not been done because of Brandon.
Oh, all right. This is how we're gonna get this
Yeah.
show started this week. We are gonna be spicy as all get out. So if you have hurt feelings by the end of this show, we don't give a fuck. So rewind, watch it again, and become a stronger person.
Also, in Brandon's slight defense, there was a trade that almost happened, but he tried to do it when Evan was busy on vacation, and Brandon or Evan tossed his family aside to make sure that this trade didn't happen. So.
Classic Evan. All right, that is a great segue into this week's show. We are going to play a game. Would you rather? We're going to go over a bunch of hypothetical situations, and Tank Top Mike and I are going to have to pick either side, and maybe we might explain why we picked that side. We might not, but these are going to be funny. These are going to be a good time. We're going to talk about anything and everything under the sun. Uh, any rabbit hole we see fit to go down, we will go down it, and we don't have any time limit, so this could go on for a while.
Without Mark to keep the pacing, who knows what really happens?
This show might go on for 3 hours. We might not know. We might just sit here and BS about the most random fantasy football stuff or non-fantasy football stuff this week, and we might just have to make this two shows and make it a part one and part two, just because we just talk and talk
Well,
and
Mark
talk and
was
talk. Or
Mark seemed a little jealous we were doing this one, so maybe we have to do
yeah,
it
he was a
again.
little buttered, wasn't he? Like we were talking in the show chat, and we were like, "Oh, we have this idea about a show," and he's like, "Oh, I see how it is. You guys come up with a show while I can't tape because he's in New York right now." But sucks to suck, I guess. Tank
Yeah.
Marky
Yeah.
Mark.
Would you rather be on this show or be in New York? Really, you know.
This show? Come on, the show is fantastic. Would I rather be on this show or have to hang out with my sisters? I would take, I would get a molar removed with no anesthesia
Yeah.
than have to sit with my sisters for more than 20 minutes. My sisters are crazy stupid.
I graduated with one of them.
Yeah, and you know what all too well the
Yeah.
craziness that is my family. All right, Tank Top Mike. Let's see what we got first on the list. Would you like to go first, or you want me to go
Yeah,
first?
you kick it off. Let's see how we do this.
All right, let's kick it off. Let's do a quasi-serious one. I've been hearing this debate around the fantasy world quite a bit the last few days, and for Humpty's pleasure, we're gonna take somebody else's point of view and just kind of reverberate it as our own because he loves it when that happens. That's why he watches the show. So, would you rather have Rashard Bateman or Gabriel Davis in a complete startup right now, a competitive startup? If you're doing a dynasty draft right now, and you're going to try to be competitive this year, which one are you taking?
Bateman.
Why?
Bateman and Bateman long term.
Bateman and Bateman long term. So you're
Yeah.
saying he's going to do better than Gabriel Davis this year, and he's going to be better long term than Gabriel Davis.
I think so.
I think I want to go on a limb and say the reason you picked Bateman is because he is the clear wide receiver one right now on that team. But I want to argue that point of fact that Stephon Diggs, we all know what he's going to do, what he's going to get. Nothing's going to change from him. And I think Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson, he is a better athlete than Josh Allen. So he can do more, compete more in different ways. Josh Allen he's a good goal line runner, but he'll kill you with his arm because he's got so many weapons. And that's where I think Gabriel Davis is going to benefit this year. Long term is a different outlook for me. I would take Bateman long term, but I think Gabriel Davis this year is going to have a really good year.
See, I think this year Davis will be fine, but he is definitely behind Diggs. You could probably make an argument that he's the two between the 20s, but once you start getting into the red zone, then he falls pretty far from there. You got Dawson Knox, you got OJ Howard, you got every running back that they have, and then you also have Josh Allen. And it's the same for Diggs. He falls off a little bit once you start to get to the red zone as well. So the other part about Gabriel Davis is we sort of know what he is, right? He had exactly one game last year with more than 10 targets.
Oh, come on. He had more than. All right, we're all obviously
one game. I'm not saying the one big game. I'm saying he had in the regular season he had one game with more than 10 targets.
Okay, in the regular season, all right, I'll give you
sure,
that.
he had a great game, but so did Cole Beasley had great games as well. So
Speaking of Cole Beasley, there's going to be a lot of targets that are going to be thrown around in this offense this year that are not going to Cole Beasley. So
that's true, yeah, but they don't all go to one guy. I think
I totally
they get
agree.
spread around. But yeah, I think that Gabriel Davis, I think he's a little bit of a fantasy hot topic. His values range all over the place. I'm a little cooler on some of the values I've seen at the high end of him go for.
I will say that at the beginning of the offseason, I was actually hotter on Gabriel Davis than I am now. I think they've cooled a little bit for me too, and I would say that I was a hardcore Gabriel Davis believer. Like everybody was sleeping on this dude. He's about to be the next Chris Godwin that everybody wants. But I think he's definitely cooled off for me. But I would take Gabriel Davis this year, Bateman long term. If I can play both sides of the road on that question.
See, I would take. Well, I'm obviously taking Bateman short term because he is going to be the one. And sure, they run quite a bit, and Lamar Jackson obviously runs quite a bit. But they've talked about being
their whole running back group's coming back.
Eventually, they'll all get there. But they've talked about being running a little bit more, or throwing a little bit more, becoming more.
I was going to say run more. When the hell are they going to run more?
And really, I think Bateman, he capitalizes, and they obviously trust him to be a guy like that because they let Hollywood go.
Great point. Great point.
I think short and long term, I think he's going to be a better, consistent fantasy option than Gabriel Davis.
I'm sure there's two managers listening to the show right now that are very happy that you're saying that.
Well,
All right, what's our next one there, Tank Top?
well, it was one that I read. So I can't take credit for the question,
Okay.
but it was a question that I thought that you and I had some stake in. So
Ooh, all right, here we go.
it was not necessarily short or like a startup. It's right now going forward.
With the lineups we have right now.
No, just in general, in
Okay.
line or going forward, Mixon or Eckler, and it got pretty heated.
Ooh.
It got very heated.
Ooh, Mixon or Eckler.
It got very heated in some of the comments that I was reading.
This isn't even a homer pick, okay? But I'm going to go with Mixon just for the pure fact that he doesn't have to do everything. You know what I mean?
Well, Eckler,
Uh,
he's on the field about 60% of the time, so he's never been a
yeah, I mean,
volume
he
guy.
is on the field a lot, but that's what you want in a top cornerstone running back for your lineup. And Eckler is just so freaking awesome too. It's like, who do you want to be your anchor at running back? You're not going to be wrong with either choice. And you can't make an argument that one has a higher receiving upside than the other. I think for me, it came down to a knee jerk reaction to the need for the team, for the defense to home in on them. You know what I mean? I don't think Eckler and well, I mean, shoot, the Chargers. The Chargers
See?
have really good wide receivers too, and you can never discount Herbert throwing the ball. I mean, these teams, the Chargers and the Bengals, they're both at kind of the same point in their team build right now.
Mm-hmm.
They got their quarterbacks. They have, I would say, wide receivers. Bengals have the upside to them because they have younger, faster, better, I think, better wide receivers. Because I would take T. Higgins over Mike Williams every day on Sunday, uh, twice in a row. And, like, you're never going to tell me that Jamar Chase is not one of, if not the best wide receivers in the league right now.
It's a.
So
I don't think he's. I wouldn't say he's not, but Keenan Allen no slouch. He's 30, but
oh, I mean, that's the only thing. Like, he's 30 years old. Keenan Allen has been proving it year in, year out. I'm not taking anything away from him, but if I have to make a decision right now, I would probably pick Joe Mixon because, I mean, he just seems like he is just in his time. You know what I mean? Like, this is the team that he's been waiting for the last few years
mm-hmm.
to actually have. And last year, a full year with Joe under center, they were just hitting on all cylinders. I don't think there's a wrong answer to this.
See,
What do
I
you
actually
think?
think them hitting on all cylinders it could be a problem. Could be a problem.
Wait! You're saying it's a problem to be doing well?
Well, my point here is the Bengals overproduced on that offense way more than anybody could have expected. That's true. You can't. They shouldn't have been in the Super Bowl. They should not have done that. Their offense was way better than anybody expected for that season. The
Okay.
Chargers offense, that's what they do. They had a baseline regular all season, produced the RB2, and they're primed to do it again. So the Bengals are, unfortunately, the truth is they'll probably regress slightly. They're not going to be bad. That doesn't mean they're going to suck. It just means they're going to fall a little bit. You look at some of those touchdowns that Chase had. You look at some of those early touchdowns that T. Higgins had, and I think that at some point, how is that all going to come down, and how are they going to settle into a new season? I don't. I'm not saying anybody's going to be bad. I'm just saying they're going to
Right.
fall, and the Chargers offense potentially stays. They've stayed the same for about 2 years. So
So you're saying the Bengals overachieved so significantly that it's going to be very, very difficult for them to reproduce the kind of explosive plays we can say that Chase had. I
potentially,
mean,
yeah, potentially, I think so. They got a lot better on offensive line, so hopefully Burrow doesn't get sacked 75 times this season.
yeah, let's freaking hope so.
So they
If
did
he
get
doesn't
better.
get sacked 75 times, I think it's a good chance that they do the same thing because he'll be
Yeah.
standing more,
So
like.
they did
But
what they needed to do in the offseason to maintain that offense, but they definitely overproduced from what a lot of people were saying. So for
so
them, so
the
for
question
Mixon,
is Mixon or Eckler though.
well then
Like I
for
think we got into
Mixon,
a offense, which offense we like, but Mixon or Eckler.
I would say Eckler because Mixon would have to be on an offense that overproduces again to be something like the RB4, where Eckler was on an offense that's just what they do. We've seen him do it twice now, so he's just got to do what he does, and he's the top RB. We know he can do it.
See, I think of it the other way. I agree that the offense in Cincinnati overproduced, but I think it was the wide receivers that overproduced, not the running back.
Well, the
I think
RBs, the running wide receivers overproduce. It opens up a lot for Mixon.
But I think regardless of how they do, they will require the defense to make changes for him. They're not gonna just go single man coverage on T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, regardless of what they do. Like there's no, they're not gonna just stack the box like a defense does against Derrick Henry against Mixon. So I think Mixon is closer to what he does year in, year out. Do I think he's going to be RB4 again? I fucking hope so, but I don't. I think he'll be top 8 probably. I don't think that's a crazy guess of where he lands after this year.
Let me see. Yeah. All right, we've beat that to death. So you're up.
All right, so let's get into these fun ones. I have one that's really pretty much an open and closed one. Would you rather watch Evan eat 3 gummies from Humpty, or would you rather watch Humpty punch Ian in the face?
Well, that one actually, it's a pretty good one. I think I think I'd rather watch Evan on that one.
You know what? I'm gonna say the same thing because I just foresee this guy losing his damn mind.
Maybe we could get a trade done if he you know.
Oh, geez, you might actually make one happen. As much as I want to see Humpty punch Ian in the face, the pure joy that I would feel in my heart watching that, I think I would laugh so hard watching Evan eat 3 full gummies and him just like absolutely explode.
Oh, that here's another one though that brings me to May McGeehan again.
Okay.
Would you rather make a trade with Ian or cut off your legs both above the knee?
So it's funny you asked that because they've been making leaps and bounds in prosthetic legs. I feel that they're just like normal legs. So make me half fucking robot because I would rather lose my legs than do a trade with fucking Ian.
Honestly,
How about you?
it feels like sometimes that's what he's trying. He's trying to rip off your legs, making trades with him.
Oh, I
So
totally
you may
agree.
as well just go all
Like
the way on that one. Rip off my legs.
you're gonna make a trade, but he's also gonna take a limb from you, you know? Sometimes it feels like he's trying to pull them off as you're trade talking
Yeah,
too.
yeah. And then he'll let me tell you why that's a good thing. You don't need your legs, and let me tell you why.
Tell me, Tank Top.
Well, you see, Darren Waller, this all star. Anyway, I think that brings us to you.
right, so I've got some news came across the board today. Baker Mayfield going to Carolina. Would you rather, as your QB1, be Carson Wentz in the Commanders or Baker Mayfield in Carolina?
That's actually a pretty good one. I like that one. I think I would rather go with Baker.
Ooh, that's funny because I was gonna go with Carson Wentz because they have a better defense.
Well, Carson Wentz is known ass, and Baker Mayfield is a known winner. Carson
You just
Wentz.
said Baker Mayfield, a known winner.
He took the Browns to the playoffs, and Carson Wentz did not take a very talented Colts team anywhere. He took them straight to nowhere.
Straight to nowhere.
They lost to the Jags to not go into the playoffs.
All right, so I'm very pro Baker Mayfield. Like any given year, I am on the bandwagon of Baker Mayfield's going to take this team, whatever team he's on, to the playoffs. I saw this crazy tweet today that if the 2020 Baker Mayfield goes to the Carolina Panthers, that he's going to go to the championship game and win, like to the Super Bowl.
He had a pretty good year.
Bull motherfucking shit! Like, there's no way they're gonna freaking beat the Bucks ever. We're gonna steamroll them twice this year, and it's not even gonna be funny.
I mean, I'm not saying that I necessarily agree, but that he would go to any sort of championship game but Baker had a pretty good season, and I think that Baker I think Baker mentally is better than Carson Wentz. That dude is ass. He knows he's ass, and now he's getting shipped around as an ass man all over the league.
An ass man.
And
so this is why I think Carson Wentz would be better, because he doesn't have to do as much.
He's got to do the same damn thing. He's got to throw the ball. He's got to hand the ball off. He can't do either of them. Baker can.
You're crazy, man. You're crazy. They went to the freaking playoffs
with Baker
2 years ago against my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lost, obviously, because duh. But it was the defense. Their offense was straight dooku and still made it. You got to think Carson Wentz is better than the third stringers and second stringers that they've had in there, right?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that Carson Wentz is not an upgrade of what they've had. But that doesn't mean...
but Carson Wentz doesn't have to do as much. We've seen Baker Mayfield try to sling the ball around, and it's not...
Baker arguably has to do less. He has...
Okay, make that argument then.
He has Christian McCaffrey, so he can run the entire offense.
Argument done. I succeed.
I don't think that you can really... You couldn't definitively say that DJ Moore is better or worse than Terry McLaurin.
I would say DJ Moore is better than TJ McLaurin.
I think, well, in the offense like that, I think that they're roughly equal. They're a true wide receiver one that a quarterback can rely on, so they're equal.
Yeah.
Obviously, their defenses, are both teams' defenses are up and coming. I'd probably give the Commanders.
I'd put the Commanders above.
Yeah, but the Panthers' defense is not one to sleep on if they're playing well.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end, I think. And Evan is going to be upset about I guess he's got both running backs, so it doesn't really matter which one we say is better.
Yeah, you don't give two poops.
But, worst case scenario, you run the offense through Christian McCaffrey, let him get hurt by week 6, but, that's fine.
Oh, Baker Mayfield? Is he going to be okay without CMC?
I think that he could be, yeah.
Okay. I'm very pro Baker Mayfield, but I'm thinking that the defense is what the deciding factor is. I mean, CMC, if they run everything through CMC, it's not Baker Mayfield that makes that offense, because, I could hand the ball off to CMC or dunk it down every 5 yards to CMC. Shoot.
Well, I don't think they have to run the offense through Christian McCaffrey now. I'm just saying that potentially Baker would have to do less than Carson Wentz because they have a guy like him. But because I think that Baker is probably or could be a better quarterback than Wentz, you don't have to do that anymore. I actually don't. Mm-hmm. I don't call Christian McCaffrey injury prone. Every one of his injuries the last few years has been different, and it's not him being injury prone. It's just the way that he plays. So if they have a quarterback that they can rely
overused.
on, then they don't have to do that. Oh God.
So you're saying the acquirement of Baker Mayfield is kind of a potential safety net for CMC.
I think it could be. I think he's definitely a better quarterback than we saw with Cam, and when
Yeah,
he was there at the end.
100%.
Definitely better. Well, Sam Darnold the first few weeks was a great quarterback there, and then he remembered that he sucks, and then they had to run everything through him. But
What week did CMC go down?
let's find out.
I think that is the deciding factor. I think CMC made Sam Darnold look 1,000 times better than he actually is.
They decided to be all cute with their lineup here. Hang on.
Did you see that? Did you
He
see that?
he played weeks 1, 2, 3, and then 9 through 12.
Yeah. I bet they directly correlate to Sam Darnold being good and being Sam Darnold.
I liked that one. Though. That was a good one.
All right, Mike, hit me with your best shot. Fire away.
I didn't expect you to do a serious one, so let me.
Oh, you want to do a serious one? We can do another one.
Jeez. Oh well, that was a good one, so I didn't expect you.
Oh, you didn't expect me to do a good one?
Yeah.
Got it. Got it.
No, not to do a good one, to do a serious one. I had I had a good idea for one, and now I can't think of it. Did I write it here?
I got one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you rather, if you have to have a co-manager, would you rather have Brandon or Evan as your co-manager? And you have to explain why.
You have to explain why.
Yes.
I'm gonna go.
Dun dun dun.
I think I'm gonna go with Evan.
Oh, I'm gonna go with Brandon. This will be fun.
Why
Evan?
I'm gonna go with Evan because I know that at least at the end of the day, Evan did his homework and he did his research into a decision. And if we went with his decision and we were wrong, I could just blame him on that.
See, that is the exact reasoning why I'm going to pick Brandon. Evan, if there was ever a decision that needed to be made, and Evan was very strong about a point of view and I wanted to go the other way, Evan would kill me with all this tape, these articles, and it would make me just want to pull my hair out. Like,
See,
I feel
would
like Brandon and I would just be able to be like, all right, what do you want to do? This is what I want to do. All right, this is what we should do. All right, boom. And then we'd be able to make a decision faster.
See, I want the decision making. I want that background on there on tough decisions. I think that every once in a while,
you just want the ability to blame it on him.
Well, I have reasons.
If it goes wrong.
I can blame anything on anything, really. So, but I would want that. I don't have to agree with what he's spitting at, but I'd rather that. The only thing would be it would be tough. Sometimes you just got to make a gut decision, and that could be a sticking point. But for the most part,
I don't think Evan's ever made a gut decision. Well, at least my definition of a gut decision. Like my definition of a gut decision is I'm presented with A and B, and I choose which one. Right? He gets presented with A or B, and he knows enough stuff to make you think A, and he knows enough stuff to make you think B. So to say that he makes a gut decision is, I just don't think he does. Like,
I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I have a fail-safe, essentially coin flip strategy for those decisions that I can't make. And you know what? It's right. It is right a significant amount more than it's wrong.
Do you want to share with the class?
I absolutely do not. You can go fuck yourself. But it's a great one.
And here we are, Landon is listening to the show, pulling out his paper and pen, ready to take some notes to actually learn something. And womp, womp, womp. Not today yet, Landon.
Mm-hmm. and it's not Ask My Wife anymore. So
It's not Ask My Wife. I feel like there's a story there. I feel like she's helped you in some aspects of your fantasy football.
here's a good one. It's another would you rather. Would you rather trade with Ian though? So that's a little
Oh,
unfair.
great. Here we go.
Would you rather trade with Ian, or you have to trade for Zeke but talk to Anna the whole time?
Well, through my personal fucking experience,
Oh,
talking through Anna about a Zeke trade has been very unbeneficial for me. Very unbeneficial for me. To say that she is a very difficult person to trade with because she is so like forthright in what she knows is an understatement. Like, all right, so obviously you're talking about the Zeke trade, the 3-team trade that we made between the NAO cast. Let's just say I had a very good trade on the table for all three of us, and
Oh.
it was almost there, and it went from okay, let me ask my wife, let me talk to Anna, and I said this trade is over, completely over.
We were getting ready to eat sushi all video chatting. I remember that.
That was a full day of, ugh, what am I going to do?
Here, I'll give you a real one though.
All right, all right.
It was the one from earlier that I had.
But knowing that, I would still talk with Anna about a Zeke trade than trade with Ian.
In a startup dynasty,
Okay.
we'll assume 10, since that's what we're here.
All right, yeah. 10 person.
Would you rather.
Same build as the NAO.
And we're going snake.
Okay.
Startup. Would you rather have the first pick or the last pick?
Are we talking rookie or veteran?
Well, we'll go vet. How about rookie and vets included? One big old bastard of it.
Ooh, one big old conglomerate.
They are fun.
Do I want to be first or do I want to be 10th?
Mm-hmm. So it's a snake, though, so you'd get 1, 10, 11. You know what I mean?
Right. Ooh, I want to be 10. I want 2 picks right in a row.
You think so?
Yeah. I want potentially the top 10 person and the top 11th person. I've always, just me personally, I've always benefited from having 2 picks right in a row. But like my starting lineup's really good when I have that. But I've done better in the league in the season when I've had like 6th or 7th for some reason. I don't know why, but that's usually a dead area in a snake draft. But I've done pretty well from there.
Now, does it change if you? Does it change if it's single quarterback or any combination of 2 quarterbacks?
Ooh, if it's any combination of 2 quarterback, I still want to stay the same, but I think I would do better.
Nice. Yeah, probably.
Because if it's a dynasty, I'm probably not going to jump at the uh, younger quarterbacks right off the bat. I'll take the upside of a quarterback of a running back or wide receiver falling to me from the guys ahead of me that are trying to take like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, what have you. And I'll take a better wide receiver and a better running back at 10 and 11 and be and take a older quarterback and just hope for to draft a starter next year.
Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, I would rather be close to the turn. And
Yeah,
both of them.
I think the turn is very underrated.
I'd rather be there.
Like if I had first pick, I would move out of it. I would not want to be first pick.
I would probably or potentially try to trade out.
I would take 2 back. Like if I had first pick and somebody wanted to give me 9 and 10, or if they were 10 and they wanted to give me 10 and 11, and I'd be first pick, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Well, we
First
agree. So
round,
now
take
what?
10 and 11, and then come back around and take what is it, 20 and 21. Yeah, my team is way better than any of y'all's teams.
So we agreed on that one. So that's less fun.
That's less fun, he says. All right, do we want another serious question?
No.
No? All right. Would you rather have F and G's lineup right now or Marky Mark's lineup right now?
Interesting. I'm gonna go. Actually, probably pretty quickly. I would settle on F and G's lineup right now.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Quickly, huh?
Yeah. I think.
Why is that? Why is it so easy to pick the rebuild FNG to
I think
Marks?
he did a pretty good rebuild, especially especially with his next year's firsts. So you look at his 2024 season, probably going to be pretty good. He'll be nice and young. He's, if you have to assume he's going to have a good draft again, since we know he can draft pretty well now.
Yeah, he can draft pretty well.
So you'd have two nice drafts in a row. You have Lamar Jackson still, so you don't have to worry about quarterback. So I think in a few years, he could be a top team. Um, and unfortunately for Mark, he's lacking in the draft pick department. So if he in the top of the league is very competitive. We saw it last time or at the ranking show. The top of the league is pretty tough. To hang
Yeah,
in.
slim pickings between picking 1 and 2 and 3.
And we saw unfortunately with the underdogs that just because you rank that high doesn't mean you get any higher than seventh. So potentially if Mark's out of the playoffs this year again, what happens? You know what I mean? That's a weird, tough spot to be in. I think with the little draft capital that he's actually got next year. I think his first pick next year is in the 5th round. So
I can tell you that his first pick next year is in the 5th round, and it is his pick.
and I think, I mean, obviously, if you look at just starting lineups, I'd probably rather have Marks because he'd potentially win more. But you look at the whole thing and you bring the draft picks in and what they're doing, I think I'd rather F and G's.
So for me, this question comes down to: do I want to compete now,
Mm-hmm.
or do I want to compete in 3 years? And I think for me, it's I'll compete in 3 years. Because this league will stay together for that long. So the work I put in for the lineup won't be wasted on the league just giving up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And right now, there's a couple teams in this league that are so heavy right now. Like, I don't think I could take uh, Mark's lineup and make it win now. You know what I mean? Because of the lack of draft capital. I mean, not to say anything about his team. His team's a good team, and people would be happy to have it. I mean, he's got some solid players on his starting lineup, but the depth is what gets me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he has good depth, but it's going to be questionable. Like Elijah Moore, how long is he going to be depth flex worthy? Obviously, I honestly think he could be a good wide receiver too in New York, but yet again, you're banking on a New York Jet wide receiver, which hasn't happened in a very long time.
That's true.
Not to completely throw his team out, I would take FNG too because it'd be more of a build and more of what I would like to have type thing instead of a this is what I have, I got to make it work type deal.
I agree with that. Yeah.
All right, I got one more that's we've kind of hit it a little bit in this show. Would you rather in a win now, Allen Robinson or Mike Williams?
I'm going Mike Williams.
You know what? I almost thought you were going to go Allen Robinson. I'm glad you went Mike Williams because I want to argue the Allen Robinson point of view.
Oh, well, so why do you want Allen Robinson?
I want Allen Robinson because I think for what they were having OBJ do the last few games of the year, I think Allen Robinson is interesting in the fact that he could potentially do that. And he's. I'm not saying that Allen Robinson is better than OBJ. There's no fucking way in any world that OBJ is way better than Allen Robinson. I just think that Allen Robinson might fit the mold of the Rams offense a little better. That's all I'm saying. And that little bit more in a win now dynasty, I think, is better than what Mike Williams will be able to bring to the table week in and week out. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I am actually pretty excited about Allen Robinson and the Rams. I think that he does fit pretty well there, and that is a pretty nice offense to go to. They obviously are not scared to throw the ball, and they'll probably do that again
Mm-hmm.
next year. The other side of that is that you can say the same for Mike Williams. They're going to be doing the same kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it just came down to that Mike Williams did not switch teams, and literally
Ooh,
that's it.
boy.
That's probably the big difference for me. I've alluded to it a few times. How many on a bunch of shows on how many years we've been doing this, but give me the guy that's done it before, and you can have the guy that has only either done it once or hasn't quite done it for that team yet. Allen Robinson, he's been a wide receiver one a handful of times, through a season already. So it's not
Yeah.
like he can't do it. But yeah, give me Mike Williams. I know his spot in the offense. I know where he fits in. I don't know technically where Allen Robinson fits into that full offense. He finished as a wide receiver one because he was a team's wide receiver one, and he's not going to be doing that there. So,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to be bad. I'll take the guy that he's sliding back into his same role where I know what he's doing.
The proven commodity.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think this is one of those other questions that you really can't get wrong.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
for me, it kind of came down to all right. If I'm in win now, I need to. It depends. Actually, if it's win now, it depends on do I need the floor play or do I need the ceiling play? Because I think Allen Robinson is the ceiling play. Like he could potentially be 12 points a game,
Mm-hmm.
or he can also be 7 points a game, like.
Give me first
And
half of the season last year, Mike Williams, though.
yeah, exactly. But I think Mike Williams is closer to 9 points a game consistently, but his top is going to be hit or miss, I think.
It could be. I can see that. That's sort of what he settled into at the end of last season.
Yeah.
So
It'd be what do I need? Do I need a boom or bust player, or do I need somebody just to come in, get me my points, and get the hell out? They don't need to do much more than what they're projected.
yeah, I'm still taking Mike Williams on that one. I want the guy that I know the point, which is actually I don't know if you've ever looked on the app on the Super app. You can look at like who scored the most like per week, and like who has the top 10 highest scoring weeks of like all 3 seasons we've had. And
Interesting.
and you know what? I'm in none of them. I am an absolute even after last season. I never scored a lot of points, but
That is crazy.
I
That is
scored the
crazy.
same amount of points on what like I'm just right in the. So that's how I built my team. My team doesn't score a lot of points, but it scores a little bit
Consistent
of
points
them.
every
Yeah.
week.
Mm-hmm. So
I
I'll
would
take him.
feel like my team, without looking, I haven't seen obviously. I feel like my team would probably be close to the bottom, in the bottom half probably. I've had a couple weeks where I've scored a lot, but my average per week did go up last year, but it's not as high as some of the other teams in the league.
It also keeps track of how many messages you sent, and Ian has sent like thousands more than the rest of us. So
Shocked!
yeah.
Absolutely shocked!
It's because he types like he's a 16-year-old girl on AOL Instant Messenger.
Please go into detail on the AOL's girl of Ian.
16 female California here.
Yeah. She, as we will forever refer to him as, she likes to make a message, hit enter, make a message, hit enter, hit a message, make enter. And like every sentence is
His period key's broken because he has to hit enter every time. Can't use it.
Yeah. It doesn't even say enter anymore. It's just a completely different color.
So I have one.
Oh, okay.
It was from 4 days ago. We literally had a would you rather in the chat. Do you remember?
Oh, all right. Let's go. Let's go.
Would you
I feel
rather
like I'm
win?
gonna get painted into a corner here. Let's go.
Would you rather win every fantasy league you're in this season, or your favorite NFL team wins the Super Bowl this season?
Ooh, easy question for me.
Mhm.
I'm all about my NFL team.
It was a super
I'd
easy
rather-
question for me because I'm all about my fantasy teams.
Like, I love fantasy, obviously. I do a podcast about freaking fantasy, about a dynasty league that we were in. And I'm in 3 dynasty leagues and a redraft. So I love fantasy football. I can sit with anyone and talk fantasy football. Unless he's fucking Ian. I'll probably try and choke him out before it's all said and done. But first and foremost, I want the Bucks to win all year so I can talk shit to everybody about the Bucks being the best team.
Well, you're consistent because that's what you voted in the poll 4 days ago.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because Bucks first, fantasy football second.
Yeah, I voted for my fantasy teams.
Now, like, taking into consideration that I pay money for most of these leagues and that winning is a deciding factor of how much money I would get, I still pick the Bucks over that. So no one can tell me that I am a fair weather fan. I will always pick the Bucks over fantasy football, regardless of how much. Well, unless I'm winning like millions of dollars, and then fuck that, I want to win millions of dollars. But I'll take one bad year for Tampa to win millions of dollars.
And see, for me, it came to that the Cowboys, well, they're just going to do whatever they do. And I hope that they win. I hope they win the Super Bowl every year, but whatever. I'm putting the work in on this fantasy shit. So
yeah, I can say that too.
I'm putting the work in, and I want to get the wins from that. Dallas will just do whatever they do. And sometimes you get Quincy Carter, sometimes you get Tony Romo. But if I'm putting the work in, I want to get the wins.
Tony Romo.
Yeah,
I'm not even a Cowboys fan, but I'm a huge Tony Romo lover. Scratch golfer, by the way. So if anybody in the fucking chat wants to argue with me about Tony Romo being a scratch golfer, they can go suck a giant penis. But yeah, I mean, I can totally agree with putting in the time for this at least this league. You know, I think the last 2 years we've been. I think that's one of the deciding factors on why it's so slow in this offseason. I think everybody that has been in this league is kind of at that point where they just kind of have to let it ride, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And we're not afraid to tell people how we feel about trades, which I think is a really cool factor in our league.
I like it when we post them in public chat. It's my favorite.
Oh, that is my favorite. I love when the mob gets into freaking trade talks because it never turns out okay. It's like a car crash. You just can't look away. And let's be honest, I'm a stirrer of the pot. I'll stir that pot to get somebody riled up. I'll take the other side just to make somebody upset. It's fun.
Yeah. It was a fun day.
Ooh, I have one more.
Mm-hmm.
I got two more.
Okay.
They're both players,
Mm-hmm.
and we can take them both at the same time as one question, or we can split them up into two. What I'll do is, I'll just split them up into two. Would you rather, with your lineup right now, and your goal as it is right now, obviously for you it's to make the playoffs again, win the championship.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's make the playoffs, contend for a championship. Because I got to make the playoffs before I can fucking win the championship. Let's just be honest here. Would you like to have Traylon Burks or Chris Olave on your team?
Chris Olave.
Boom! That is the right answer. That is the right answer. Chris Olave is going to be the best wide receiver in this draft class, and
His
it's not even going to
lungs
be
work.
close.
Yeah.
It's not even going to be close, man.
Yeah, I like Olave. I mean, I saw Burks go 1-1, and I thought
What?
a few times,
1-1?
and I think that was pretty ridiculous. So,
Burks 1-1. That must have been a Titans fan.
and if Michael Thomas keeps getting healthier and he comes back, yeah, still give me Olave. Yeah.
Even with a good, not a I'm on the field because I want to play with Drew Brees for his last season, Michael Thomas, but a healthy Michael Thomas, you would still take Chris Olave.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, it's
think,
going to be Jarvis Landry in that offense anyway. So
what's that?
it's going to be Jarvis Landry in that offense anyway. But
Yikes! I'm Jarvis Landry.
you're not reading the old beat writers all around the country. That's because you want the Bucks to win.
Sorry, I'm not talking to the local guy that is drinking the juice on freaking Jarvis Landry.
Well, that's
Being
why
from
you're.
LSU, going to New Orleans to end his career.
I mean,
Come on!
maybe that's why you were fifth place.
Wow!
I have beat
I'm
writers for
fifth
every
place
team.
because I won't take a freaking flyer on Jarvis Landry.
It has nothing to do with Jarvis Landry here. It has everything to do with it. I'm reading beat writers for 32 NFL teams all day long.
Got it. You have the Twitter machine on full effect for all 32 freaking beat writers
I
to.
don't use Twitter.
Wait. How the hell do you follow all these beat writers? Do you subscribe to all their fucking papers?
No. I don't do any of that.
That blows my mind. Now I'm just wondering how you do it. Because I know darn well you do it.
But there's a lot of good talk about Jarvis Landry in that offense this year, actually. So.
You're trying to get me riled up about James Winston. It's not going to work. I'm not going to get on my freaking soapbox about him. All right. And I spoke negatively about an LSU player. Come on. What are you doing to me?
Poor
All
Jarvis.
right, let's get on to the last one. This is the last one, unless you have one. Do you have one?
I can think of some.
Think of something while I ask you this question.
Oh, no. Okay, go ahead.
Would you rather have Juju or Christian Kirk?
Juju.
I think that was the right answer. I think Christian Kirk is going to be a vastly overpaid bench warmer. Maybe not a bench warmer. That was too rough. But Christian Kirk is not going to even come close to fulfilling the need he would need to put on his team to be worth the money that he got paid.
Yeah, I would much rather have, that. Well, really, it's Mahomes. I think Trevor Lawrence got the short end of the stick last year. I don't think you can count him out at all.
No, I think he gets a do-over for his rookie year.
But give me Mahomes throwing me the ball. So
shocked you're going to go with one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Good thinking. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm going with Mahomes. Give me Juju in a offense that could potentially be really good. I think they're going to be better without Tyreek Hill. I think they're going to be way more balanced, to be honest with you, which is scary. But and I think Juju's going to be a solid player in that offense. But I think Christian Kirk, Trevor Lawrence, I think you need to give him a mulligan on his rookie year, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was historically bad coaching, so.
Extremely bad coaching. Like, the whole organization was in a freaking tailspin as soon as they hired Urban Meyer as the head coach,
So
they were a dumpster fire, and then they hired Urban Meyer, and then they were two dumpster fires. Mm-hmm. He set them back at least a decade.
Evan Ingram's gonna have a great season there this year, though.
Evan Ingram.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. You know what? I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon with you here. I think he's gonna do way better. He did in New York.
I have him.
I know you do. Is your subtle flex of
I think for some
tight end
reason
that you're ready to get rid of?
I only have like maybe three guys that I drafted in the original startup, and Evan Ingram is one of them.
I think I have one. I have one. I think.
Yeah, I think I have Mahomes and
I think I
Mahomes
have
and
Darrell Williams. I think he was my only guy that's from my original vet draft.
and mine. I think it's just Mahomes and Evan Ingram for me. Two
Well, if you're gonna keep
champions.
one, friggin' Patrick Mahomes is a good one to keep.
Yeah.
All right, you said you're gonna think of one question. This is the
Okay.
last question of the show. We're gonna end the show on this. All the
It's
pressure's on you.
it's like a would you rather, but it's about literally thousands of people. So I'm going to frame it slightly differently.
All right, let's go. I'm ready.
You're doing a dime or any kind of. Let's do a redraft. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You're doing a 12 team draft.
Okay.
You unfortunately have pick one. You can't trade out.
Okay.
But the league consists of literally every past NFL player considering in their prime. So you're not
In
talking
their prime.
in their prime. Who do you take
I'm
1-1?
automatically thinking.
And we're gonna go to make it fair to other players to balance the values. We're gonna go single quarterback
Okay.
because otherwise the answer is Dan Marino.
Yeah. Otherwise, the answer is Dan fucking Marino. All right. Well, I didn't expect that.
I actually don't know the answer that I have either. So
I was thinking when you're asking the question, automatically going to running back.
okay,
And
here's
in their
let's
prime.
add another caveat. So two players. You have the 1-1.
Okay, two players. Go ahead.
Let's say you have the 1-1. Who do you take? And then you have whatever position, and you take a skill player. And who's your top skill player?
Wait. Explain that. So what if I take a skill player at 101?
Well, you could. I guess who's your top quarterback and who's your top skill player?
Okay, top quarterback and top skill player. Got it.
And a single quarterback.
In a single quarterback. In their heyday.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so I'm going to take as my skill player Barry Sanders.
That's easy. Yeah, that's probably
Yeah,
it.
that was the easy one. It's the quarterback one that I'm freaking contemplating.
Actually, I think for me, quarterback was the easy one, and I'm still going with Dan Marino.
All right, Dan Marino for you. All right, who's my quarterback? All right, so I'm contemplating Peyton Manning because he can dissect any fucking defenses in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
And the beast, Doug Flutie, because he's freaking awesome, all right? And no one would have picked him, okay?
You could pick up
Doug
Flutie in the
freaking
fifth
Flutie.
all day.
He's 5-0 and throws it 70 yards, all right? Come on.
I had Flutie flakes in high school at Peter Samich's house.
Good old Pete. All right, who's your skill player?
Yeah, I'm going Dan Marino as my quarterback, for sure.
Good pick, I think.
I mean, if you're taking him in his prime, then he's got these days. Oh man, 5,000 yards back then in the '80s. You're talking.
Yeah. Triple that without being able to get hit. Come on, man.
Skill player. I think the easy answer, if you're not going running back, I guess would be like Jerry Rice.
Ooh, I was gonna think Randy Moss.
Yeah, I thought about Randy Moss.
If I had to pick a wide receiver.
I thought Randy Moss. I would probably take Jerry over Randy. Longevity.
That's a good call.
And then you'd have Dan Marino thrown to Jerry Rice. That'd be cool.
That would be.
I guess running back, I would.
You know what? Would be the deciding factor for Jerry Rice? Jerry Rice wearing the gloves that the guys wear now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could you imagine the stickiness that his hands would be? He's like amazing at catching, obviously, but then you put like the new tech gloves on him, he's gonna be
Yeah.
crazy good.
I think, unfortunately, I guess to be fair to the question, if you're going at their prime, I would take Barry over Emmett at running back.
Interesting.
Hmm.
That's a cool little caveat. You
If
would
you're
take Barry
going,
Sanders over Emmett in
oh
their
yeah,
primes?
oh yeah. If you're going like Emmett, if you knew the story, you'd take, obviously the guy
Yeah,
played for 800 seasons, and
I was I had the benefit of watching Barry Sanders, and before I even knew who was good at football, I knew Barry Sanders was good at football because
yeah,
to watch a guy make 300-pound dudes absolutely miss in a freaking phone booth is pretty exciting to watch.
yeah. That's a tough call as a Cowboys fan, but it's the right one.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's because I would want my fantasy team to win.
Well, that's our show this week. We talked about literally everything under the sun. If you have not seen the show, Tank Top Mike will pick his fantasy football
Yeah.
team over the Dallas Cowboys at
Sure.
any given moment. And yeah, Ian, you suck.